Yeah, baby, we're back. That's right, we're back, and it is raining cats and dogs. Gosh darn it! You better be lucky I made it here, but it's raining out there. Crazy people driving. Actually, there was nobody on the roads. It was actually pretty chill. Got my little coffee, racetrack coffee. What up? Best coffee. Don't get that Starbucks junk. Welcome back to Nobody Asked But. I'm your host, Tart Bryant. So it was tough for this film because of the fact that you could and you will get lost in the comedy. From the jump, it is hilarious. It took me a while, but I got an epiphany on the way back from the gym. I wanted to take it a bit further. This being Nobody Asked But, I really wanted to go in and dissect this film and bring out the hidden tropes, the hidden themes, shed some light on some blossoming skills when it comes to a certain actor, and as well as bring light to the era that I love, the 80s. Like, am I the only one who just freaking loves the 80s? It was such a prime rib time in history. This is Nobody Asked But. I'm your host, Tarek Bryant. Today we're going to be talking about the 1998 classic set in the 80s, The Wedding Singer, starring Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. This is the perfect rom-com date night Valentine's Day movie for you, and I think we should talk about it, don't you? All right, let's get into it, shall we?
Nobody asked you, bold boy.
So let me get in the frame first. So if you haven't seen the movie, let me give you a little rundown real quick. The Wedding Singer follows Robbie, the best wedding singer in Ridgefield, New Jersey. He is the party, all right? He brings it.
To be your friend, Grandma Molly, I'm talking to you.
However, though, he goes through a heartbreak that leaves him in a huge depression, and he finds solace in an engaged Julia, played by Drew Barrymore. Their chemistry is so freaking cute. Like, I think that's like 80% of the movie is just watching these two bounce off each other. This is the first film that they starred in together. You can already see why 51st Dates is also one of my favorites, because their on-screen chemistry is so cute. From the moment the two meet, it's as if they have known each other their whole lives, which I think is really how some of the best relationships start off as friends, and then before you know it, you have like a 5-year-old. For these fools though, they had to go through some hoops and ladders in order to get to the fireworks, okay? You know, back in the 90s, it didn't seem like they wanted males to, experience heartbreak or try to show what it felt like for a man to just be a lead when it came to something like romance. And what I mean by that, they didn't really have the prince in distress, so to speak, or the man falling into heartbreak. I mean, there was Alfie. Was Alfie in the 90s? But there was one like way back with Michael Caine, but that's beside the point. Most films featured the trope of damsel in distress. You know, you got Julia Roberts in every movie. Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, they've been in a lot of movies together. My point is, they were always shared. It was never just like the male. Unless you count The Wood, and if you've seen The Wood, you know, that's a good movie. The Wood is a good movie. But that movie in itself is a great example of an all-male lead, or just a male lead story. And every rom-com in the 90s, sure, it had Richard Gere in it, but was Richard Gere like the main focus? No. Here comes The Wedding Singer.
New Line Cinema presents.
Is it true that you're in the middle of a nervous breakdown?
Whoopity-doo!
Now, I could be wrong. Leave a comment below if you found a 90s movie where it just starred the male lead. I could be wrong. But in The Wedding Singer, we finally see the effect of heartbreak a man goes through. And not just any man, bruh. A musician. So you already know he's going to start playing his emotions through his song. Before heartbreak.
All I know is that to me, you look like you're lots of fun.
After heartbreak.
Holiday. Celebrate.
I mean, check out every Taylor Swift song. They're driven by heartbreak. They're driven by love. And now she's like a Forbes 500, you know what I mean? Let's get back to the movie. In this time of despair, we really see how Robbie is as a character. You know, we don't see him just jumping back into the action like his friend Sammy suggests. He handles the pain healthily instead of running out and scoring chicks with his friend. You find that most of Adam Sandler's prior films to The Wedding Singer, we saw the SNL Adam Sandler. And that's not a bad thing, but when you watch this movie, you wonder, like, if Billy Madison and Robbie Hart were in the same room, who would be more chill? You know what I mean?
Women, you just have fun with it. You get emotionally involved and they end up dating. And what do?
They rip your heart out of your ass.
That's right.
And this scene brings me to a point that will go on later into the video of toxic masculinity. But again, we'll dive in that testosterone pool in a minute. And I'm not the only one who agrees with the fact that this film kind of pioneered Adam Sandler's dramatic role. Even in The Collider, you see them discuss how this movie kind of was a trajectory to Adam Sandler's starting to go down a more dramatic lead. So, and don't get me wrong, he's still Adam Sandler.
Once again, things that could have been brought to my attention yesterday!
But now we see a more emotional depth in his acting.
I don't know. Don't remember. Julia's staying at Glenn's tonight, huh?
Yeah.
Does she stay over there a lot?
Yeah.
Really?
He had me feeling for him at certain points. We see a slightly more vulnerable side of Adam Sandler, showing range that comes full circle, I feel, in Click, in which we got the full compass of Adam Sandler, and then he kind of took off from there and started doing a lot more dramatic leads. Check this scene out. Look at him trying so hard, not only to lie to her, but to himself about how he feels for Julia. Like, I don't know if we've seen that type of emotional depth in movies prior to that with him. So I'm just saying, nobody asked me, but I think, this could have been one of those movies that told him and everyone else, I could do more. Also, the dude can sing so good. He can sing so good. Like the opening song, just the fact that he's able to hit those, I'm like, bro, props to you, okay?
If you come upstairs, you're gonna get laid.
Wow. Nobody's ever said that to me before.
This chick is wild, yo. This chick is wild. All right, Drew Barry, and we're gonna get to that later because there's toxic femininity within this film too. I'm telling you, this is a really deep film. I was able to get in there and just pull out some nuggets. If toxic masculinity and toxic femininity doesn't ring any bell, then props to you because you have not been in front of a screen for the past couple years, okay? Unless it's been these past couple years and you've been watching me. In that case, kudos to you. If you haven't, welcome. Subscribe, like, watch, view, enjoy. In the movie, we find that a lot of the villains come from the people we, the audience, and Robbie come in contact with. Julia.
Why is that funny?
I don't know.
Glenn, for example, right off the bat is our main antagonist, and I mean, this guy is toxic masculinity's love child. He cheats, he's selfish, doesn't care at all about Julia. And you know what? I'll just let Billy Idol explain it.
Glenn doesn't deserve her. All he cares about are possessions. Fancy cars, CD players, even women are possessions to him.
See, Billy Idol gets it. I don't know why she doesn't get it.
The dude has money, everything opposite of Robbie. Ironically, in this day and age, a man like him wins in the end. That's why most men work their butts off to get the fast cars, to get the lifestyle, to make women feel secure and provided.
I mean, you know why she's marrying him, don't you?
The money thing? Security? A nice house? I guess that's important to some people.
No, it's important to all people.
Really? Well, then I guess I'm in big trouble.
I mean, don't get me wrong though. There are a lot of wealthy men out there who are very nice, very humble, but nobody asks me. Most men are like Robbie, you and me, driven by the thought that someone is rooting for them, or one day you'll make it, or having someone to tell you that everything's gonna be all right.
Everything is going to be all right.
But what happens, man, when you don't have that? What happens when that motivation just, leaves you alone? Drew Barrymore, off the bat, puts every cute kitten on the internet to shame. Julia's sweet and supportive to everyone she comes in contact with, even Glenn, who's just terrible to her. If you parallel that to Robbie's ex, Linda, who's all looks but nothing upstairs, I'm telling you, she doesn't even support our hero. And she's been with him for longer than Julia. Oh my God. Not only does it call men out on their flaws, but women too. Aside from Julia, most of the women throughout the film are very promiscuous. If anything, they're trying to get something for themselves. Either they're dressed in skin-tight dresses, or in Julia's sister's case, they just a hoe for show. I believe it's much more of like storytelling and imagery. And the imagery and the storytelling that it's doing, I believe it's used as a way to differentiate Julia compared to other women, whether it be her lifestyle, personality. because there's a shot of Julia and Glenn back to back. Glenn's looking at a woman, Julia's looking at a man, and you could see the dichotomy. And it shows you, I don't know, I could be going out into weeds here, but I think it's a great way of comparison. Parallel that though, Julia isn't like any of those women Robbie comes in contact with. She's supportive, she's caring to Glenn even though he's an a-hole, and is generally just a good person. She encourages Robbie to get off his butt, unbeknownst to her, to go get a job because he wants to be able to provide for her. He wants to be able to be that man who can be, you know, a vessel of security for her. And I think that's another kind of side villain too, you know, the idea of security, having someone to be secure with. That's a villain for everyone, Glenn, Robbie, and Julia. Nobody asked me, but wealth can either be a villain or an inspiration for most men when it comes to relationships especially, and life. Maintaining that security, that status determines how serious you are about yourself. It shows your lady how serious you are about yourself, and it determines how serious you are about life. Let me ask you this question. Why do you think Glenn wants to marry Julia? I guarantee you it's the same reason for security. He wants an obedient wife that's gonna deal with his shit and not say anything. That's a form of security too. Everybody deals with it. I deal with it too. Like the idea of like being able to provide, have my woman know that, you know, she's secure in this relationship. She knows her man is putting in the work to get us to a better life. That's the one thing about Glenn that was lacking with Robbie, was that drive for wealth, that drive for more life, a better life, going beyond that.
I am never gonna leave Richfield.
Why do you need to leave Ridgefield? We grew up here. All our friends are here. It's the perfect place to raise a family.
Everything else Glenn does, the gaslighting, the affairs, all that shit, you can leave at the door. But the drive to be better, to want more from life, that's bigger than wealth. That's beyond money. In some instances, in some cases, you can find that inspiration in either something you love to do that benefits others, or you find that inspiration from someone else. And in Robbie's case, that someone was Julia. I'll tell you what, I've really stuck my toe in this one. If you like what you're hearing, like that like button. 6 o'clock in the morning, click that like button. I wanted to come over here and get this done. Click that subscribe button. Get it out before Valentine's Day. Actually, this movie premiered February 13th. I'm just saying. The 80s. When I lived in New York, quick story. When I lived in New York, I was obsessed with Billy Idol. Every time you saw me on the train, I was listening to Billy Idol. If you caught me at work, I was watching Billy Idol documentaries. I don't know what happened. I just like went through a punk rock phase.
It's a nice day to start again.
Wishing that I listened to this guy back in high school, I feel like it would have been a lot cooler. The reason I'm bringing this up, he's one of those 80s pioneers, or like they stood out during the 80s. Rebel Yell, you know, kind of like Prince, Madonna. It was a perfect moment in time where culture, art, races, and that's a big one too, races, all came together. It like finally came together. And you know, besides the crack epidemic, there's that. Besides that, everything was dope. It showed through the generation during the 80s just how beautiful that time was. The clothes, colors were finally realized for their importance. Everything about it was experimental. Each of the youth was vocalized in synthesizers and eyeliners, man. It was hot. You know, no, I mean like it literally looked like it was hot everywhere in the 80s. Like everybody just looked sweaty. That's the one thing I feel like I would just kind of like that. The music, even in The Wedding Singer, is maybe why the director Frank Karachi, I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, Frank Karachi, and writer Tim Hillihy, man, I'm butchering these names, maybe why they based it in the 80s. Reverbs creating captivating auras from Madonna to Rick Astley to Level 42. Lyrics told stories, painted pictures with Purple Rain, bruh, through stylistic guitar solos. Rock and roll existed with electrifying ballads, thunderstruck with vocals that could awaken a dormant energy within you. The music, the love, the 80s, I mean, you gotta love it, and they do it so well.
Man, look at If I get to know your name,
Embrace it so well. They honor it so well.
I set my sights on you. I know what else will do.
The Wedding Singer is a genuine classic, okay? In April of 2006, they literally made a Broadway play, The Wedding Singer, because it's so good. It ended New Year's Eve of that year, but the fact that it was running on Broadway just tells you that this thing, in the sense of nostalgia, in the sense of a great story, in the sense of a happy ending, in the sense of it being just funny, my dude, you never stop laughing in this movie.
Okay, what are you doing, man?
I'm sorry. I used to be much stronger.
It's like, you know, you have a blast with the music as well as rooting for Robbie to get Julia. I'm like, no, go knock on the door. The wardrobe designers, set pieces, hair and makeup, everybody did such a great job bringing the aesthetics of the 80s to life. Something happens in the battlefield. The 80s playlists have been on repeat at work. I'm sorry, Carlos. Check out The Wedding Singer. We rented it on Amazon Prime. I'm pretty sure it's on Hulu. It's a perfect Valentine's Day movie for you and yours. Be sure you get your girl flowers now. My name is Tarek Bryant. Get them now. Don't wait. This is Nobody Asked, but go watch The Wedding Singer. Have a good one, y'all. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace out.
Nobody asked you, bold boy.